I received an email from a person who wants to remain anonymous, and this is what he said to me. He is a geneticist, a full-blown geneticist. And he says, "Dear Mr. Pye, I agree with your conclusions and will give you a few hints, if you wish, as a DNA deep throat. First, look up the huge discontinuities between man and the various apes for whole mitochondrial DNA, genes for the Rh factor, and human Y chromosomes, among others. Regarding number 3, the chromosomes, I refer you to K.B. Smith's 1987 study titled Repeated DNA Sequences of the Human Y Chromosome. It says most human Y chromosome sequences so far examined do not have homologs, which are similar sequences, on the Y chromosomes of other primates. Human female DNA does look somewhat ape-like, but not the male Y. This means that if we are a crossbred hybrid species, as you contend, meaning me, the cross had to be between a female ape-like creature, a creature of the earth, as the Sumerians said, and a male person from elsewhere, as I also contend." He goes on to say, "What the evolutionists do is find certain genes which look very similar between man and ape. Then they make a tree of descent while ignoring those huge impassable abysses of difference elsewhere. Also, by certain methods of DNA dating, one can tell that numerous genes have been recently added to the human genome. If workers in my field were to say such things openly, we would be ostracized, as I also contend, and forced to live in a tent. Any work along these lines would be rejected without any form of appeal. So what can we do? Sincerely, DNA Deep Throat."
Hi, I would like to discuss the geneticist's letter to Lloyd Pye. I thought it was very interesting that he suggested for him to check the genes of the Rh factor. What exactly is going on with the Rh factor? We do know that Rh positives have a protein in common with the rhesus monkeys, and Rh negatives do not have that protein. So what exactly happened back there about 6,000 years ago in Samaria when civilization began? Also, what happened between the Neanderthal and the Cro-Magnon? And there's many different questions that I have that we have no answers for right now. First off, what is the rhesus blood type of the Neanderthal and the Cro-Magnon? That would be very interesting to know. So far with the Neanderthals, we know that they have the O blood type, but we do not know the rhesus factor as of yet. So we're waiting for the rest of the genome to be mapped out for the Neanderthal. I have a lot of questions about this letter to Lloyd Pye. Do humans represent a new species on the planet Earth? We had the Neanderthal and then we had the Cro-Magnon, which were an entirely different species. So far they have found out that genetically the Neanderthal and the Cro-Magnon were two different species. So what was going on back there, and why does the genes for the rhesus factor seem to hold the key to part of what was going on? We do know in the Bible, in Genesis 2, it talks about man being created out of the dust of the earth. We do not know, the Bible does not tell us whether there was another species already here. It's only telling us that a new species has been created on the earth. So there's a lot there that we're not being told. I just think it's going to be very interesting to find out what the geneticists are finding out. If you take an Rh positive person, and I'm talking about someone that does not have any of the Rh negative genetics, and take a Rh negative person, and if you compare the genetics, how would they differ? I mean, that's a study that we need to be done today. I would love to see that be done. Anyways, this letter, it opens up a Pandora's box, so to speak. You know, the geneticists are covering up a lot. They're in support of the evolution theory, or a majority of them are. But the evidence that is coming about does not support evolution. And there are many geneticists now that are starting to speak up about this. And as we have seen in that letter, it was suggested to check the genes for the rhesus factors. So I find that very interesting. I'm just going to leave it there. The viewer can decide whatever they want. I think, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what the geneticists come up with in the next few years. Okay, thank you for watching. I'm Roberta Hill. Bye.